Welcome to VP4 TV, a tactical genius production. Here is a list of upcoming matches in the 2023 Virtual 9-Ball World Championships. I try to stream what I think will be the best matches to watch and offer a good standard of play. Please subscribe to my YouTube and Twitch channels so you can join in the stream chat.
Don't make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
Hasta la vista, baby.
The trouble with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
When things look bad, and it looks like you're not gonna make it, then you gotta get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean. Because if you lose your head and you give up, then you neither live nor win. That's just the way it is.
Your assignment tonight is strategic. You can't give the enemy a break. Send them to hell.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
And I'll just unmute my mic. Welcome to Braidville Out. Welcome back to VP4 TV. We're here for another match in this year's VP4 2023 Virtual 9-Ball World Championships. A one-loss side match tonight. Race to 13. And it's between Shibo from Serbia and Nikk from Bulgaria. And they're going to go at the top of the hour in about 2.5 minutes time. We have matches updated on the schedule. We have the match tonight. The other matches I think are still the same. There was one supposed to go ahead earlier today, it didn't. Billy Big Rigger and Chico. Chico got advanced. I don't know what the story was with that. Welcome to LS3. Welcome to Semi-Pro. But as you can see, among the other matches that I mentioned last night, we also now have Albinario versus Bedhead, which is going to go ahead next Monday, and that will be at 7 PM. So that's the one to look forward to. Yeah, I don't know what the reason was it didn't go ahead though. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. So here's how I see this match. Shibo will be going for his shots. He will make mistakes. He will make more mistakes than Nikk. Nikk seems to have a more solid grounding and more likely to find his way out. So I predict the win for Nikk. But it's only a race to 13, and I think for Shibo to be competitive in this, I think he needs a good start. He needs to get a lead early on and try and defend that lead, but I think Nikk will just be that bit too good for him. That's how I see it. Welcome to Chimpy. Well, did I say welcome to LS3? Billy had the wrong time by an hour. Oh, unless his clock's wrong. Anyway, no more time to hang around. We have the room has just gone up. We'll get in. And Nikk is already in. We're just waiting on Shibo arriving. Now, if you give me a second, quick tab.
Or you're sort of here.
Welcome to VP4
I'm just
TV.
getting the intro
You're watching
sorted,
a
Steve.
Tactical Genius production. Please welcome your commentary team for this match, 9ball.com and super admin aka Steve Chapman, CEO and President of Celeris, Inc. Good luck to both players and have a good one.
So Steve is in the house. Welcome to Steve. I've already given my prediction. I think Nikk will just be that bit better than Shibo.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nick's the favorite. I don't know by how much, but...
So Shibo breaking on the right-hand side. Or lagging on the right-hand side, I should say. And the Albinario Bedhead match has been arranged. That's going to go ahead next Monday. That will be 2 PM your time, Steve. Monday the 6th.
Yeah, I should be there for that one.
So Shibo wins the lag. Needs a good start. Now he's breaking from the extreme top left corner. Ball in the side, ball in the top right hand corner. Perfectly on the one. And he's got a perfect slight angle as well. Couldn't ask for any better a start here. And this has to go, this rack. This is exactly what he has to do. He has to get in. And with a table like this, if he can't get out here, big fail. Welcome to Bill. 13-4 to Nikk. I think LS3's about to change that in a second or two.
I'm just renewing my car registration.
Oh, it's a bit straight.
Cheap here.
What do you mean your registration? You mean well, I mean that's the thing in the States, because the United States has got so many states. Basically, they're all like different little countries all merged into one.
Oh yeah.
We have over here. We've got your insurance for your car that you have to have, and we've got road tax that you pay every year or every 6 months. So what do you mean renewing your registration? When you say that's as if you're renewing the registration of the vehicle, of the car.
It is.
The number plate.
We have registration tags, so you know, you have a license plate, you put tags for every year on it. So, you know, you're required to renew it every year. Now here it's $20. In California, it's
120.
unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. When you buy a new car, it's almost like you're paying sales tax. So let's say you bought a $50,000 car. The first year your DM fees or V fees are like $1,200. The second year they're like $1,150. By year 10 they're down to maybe about $400 or $500. So you pay. I mean, just in the first 10 years you own it, you pay like $6,000, $7,000 in registration fees. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
Here it's 20 bucks.
You're cheaper throwing it away and buying a new car. Welcome to Mooncake. Well, Shibo got the start that was required of him. He got a break. He got a couple of balls in the break and a nice open table. He ran out. And now he's got a problem. He's got a wide open table here. He's got a dodgy cut in the one, and the two is fairly tight to the long rail on the left. Now, I know what I'd be doing. I'd be bumping that one up the table somewhere and coming back towards the 4, something like that. He could go 2 rails and sort of bank it to the left and above the left side pocket and send it to the top rail. You could do that as long as it didn't bump into the 9. And that's a decent enough safety. Well, I wouldn't have slammed it as hard as that, though. I mean, he's got the pace all wrong with that shot. He had the right idea, but again, touched like a sledgehammer. That's no good. I mean, the idea was correct, but that one ball should have been somewhere in the middle diamond in the top rail if the pace was right. And that's no good either, I don't think. Let's have a quick look around. We can see it. but it's fairly close to the rail. Got to get this flush, but I don't think he doesn't think he can see enough of it. I thought he could. Let's have a look. Well, then again, the more I look at it, the more I think, no, he can't. Well, it's tough now. Well, there was a bit of lag there. Well, that was a nice shot.
All right, so I'm done with that, and I can watch this match.
Well, this is another tough one. I think the problem is, if he's going to just let things go the way they are, he may well bump into the 5. If he doesn't bump into the 5, he may well spin around the corner and come down in the short side of the 4 and have to leave a combo of some description.
This is tricky getting by. I think he can get by it, though, as long as he doesn't really hit it too hard. Well, that's just too weak, though.
Well, he's going to leave the long bedhead cut. I'll tell you why, though, because this 5 ball's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to play the combo, so... I mean, he had the option of backing the cue ball up to get to the combo. This may work out. All he's got to do is make this shot. He doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. Yep.
No, if it bumps to 7...
Oh, that was close.
That'll do it. Now, again, Shibo should learn from his mistakes. This has all come about from a poorly executed safety. He played the shot that I was talking about, but he played it all wrong, far too heavy. And he's going to get the correct punishment administered to him.
Well, Shibo's won a game, so what were the score predictions? 13-8 Nikk, 13-4 Nikk.
Yeah, I think it might be 13-9 to Nikk. I think there's 4 racks in it at the end of the day.
I don't know. For the better players, you know, if they can just control the table, run out, and if you can't run out, play safe. And, you know, if you do that, you can really beat people pretty badly.
Well,
if you control the table.
Mooncake, the story is that Billy got the time wrong by 1 hour. I don't know how he managed to do that, but
yeah, I mean, I've been having this problem, and you know, one of the Filipinos had it, and I tried to kind of figure out how this happens, but talking to players is not always that easy. You know, I ask them simple questions like, didn't it say the time for your match in your local time? Yeah. Was there some other email or communication that made you think it was some other time? You know, I mean, and I can't get answers to the questions because I'm just wondering how people can get the wrong time.
Well,
so
Billy
he says the scheduler gave him the wrong time. I want to see what was sent to him.
Yeah, I mean, Billy said the scheduler gave him the wrong time, turned up an hour after the match had started or was due to start. Oh.
I want to see that message because what happened with the Filipino was there were 3 times on the schedule. He picked one, and then he thought it was a different one. But if you go look on the page and you go look at the confirmation, it still should be the right time. So I think, you know, this is the problem with trying to talk to players. The scheduler gave me the wrong time, and I bet you anything there were 3 times on the schedule. He accepted one and thought it was
it was the other one. Yeah, I could believe
Never
that.
looked at the confirmation email that got sent to him. Never went to the tournament page and checked that. So, yeah, if you log into and it shows the right time, if you look at the tournament page, it'll have your match time. And this is what's frustrating to me is, you know, trying to work out problems while I get bad information.
Well, I think Billy needs to check his trash folder in VP4 messages in case he just deletes them as soon as as soon as he sort of glanced at it, he may well have just deleted it, but it will still be in his trash if he hasn't emptied the trash.
Until somebody sends me something that shows me different, I'm going to assume that the player made an error because we've been doing this for a long time. And, I will say this year we've had two problems, one with the Filipino and now one with Billy Big Rig. But, we've been doing this a long time.
Well, Shibo got himself back into the lead. And a ball in the break. Well, this is a little tricky one, just to come around the corner. It's tricky because, again, it's a blind pocket cut. Well, that's nice. Now he has to weigh up how to deal with this forward ball. I mean, he just needs to get the touch so he's dropping it into the side.
Well, there's not a lot of touch required here. I mean, he just needs to back this up a little.
I think the problem, though, Steve, is where the 6 ball is. I mean, if he just dinks this perfect. He's got to get across.
Well, that's like perfect because you don't want to risk hooking yourself trying to get perfect. He overhit a little, and that's what you need to do on that shot. Is you just got to make sure you don't leave it there. I say this all the time about making sure you err on the side that you're still good on, and that was a good example of what to do.
Well, that's well done. Now this is again, just drop it in.
He's going behind it, I think. Oh, he's not going behind it. He was able to hold it. That kind of shot, if you don't think you can get to where he did, then you just go behind the ball.
I've never had a problem with it, the clock time not matching what the message says. I've never had that.
There's been so many problems with time, and the scheduler time is difficult. Time in general is difficult on a web server. We've had a lot of time problems, so hopefully we don't anymore because they're never that much fun to fix. But even just doing the leagues, trying to get the times right on it was, doing all the confirmation emails and all that stuff's got to go out in local time.
Well, Shibo's not taking his time.
Speaking of leagues, are you guys ready for leagues again? Because I've been negligent on my league setup.
Well, I think you have to get the majority vote on what they want, whether it be again, remember the discussion was first of all an 8-ball league, and then the other one was what's the word? An elite league.
A Masters, like 9-ball or 10-ball league. 10-ball league would probably be better. Do a Masters league with no handicaps, 2-man teams. And a little different sort of thing is that, instead of having 3 or 4-man teams, have just 2-man teams. They can be smaller, and it's not going to be tons of players in the Masters thing with no handicap. But, I think we can probably get a league. Hopefully we can get a league with 6 or 8 teams in it.
Here's a problem with Shibo. In that rack that Nikk won, it was a poor safety from Shibo. In this rack here, Nick's come in from a poor safety from Shibo. Now, that's a pattern that started already, and this is how Nikk is staying in this match already early on. And if Shibo can get his safety down pat, then he could have been 4-0 here. And this is how racks slip away.
The moving game's super important. You get to the point you can run out, and the rest of it turns into moving, making good decisions. I would recommend most people watch pros play and watch what they do. Especially with the 9-ball that they've been playing with the break box and the money ball on the spot. And there's plenty of racks where guys have to play safe after the break. Watch, or they have to push out or play safe. Watch what the pros do. I think you're going to find if they push out, they're pushing out to something that, isn't particularly easy, but it's not impossible. And when they play safe, I think you're going to see that most of the safeties are very high quality.
Well, I hope for Shibo's sake he doesn't sit after this match regretting, or I hope he doesn't sit scratching his head wondering how he lost. because the evidence of those 2 racks, well, this one anyway, as well as the other one, are that it's down to poor safety.
This is how you learn. You learn through pain. So you gotta after you fail, that's what you have to question yourself: is what did I do wrong, and how am I gonna change it?
So he's going to be back within 1. Here's a curious little question, Steve. Steve Daking's website no longer works. I wonder if he's retired, because his website was obviously offering to get hired out for training purposes and things like that. I checked it the other day there; it doesn't work anymore.
I have not talked to him for a long time. I could send him a note and see what he's up to. You know, he did a lot of shows. I mean, he was, he did a lot of speaking engagements. I mean, he's sort of a motivational speaker, trick shot artist, showman. I mean, it's and obviously he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, it's just a bit worrying that the site didn't say down for maintenance or anything like that. We're just totally dead. So it was. Well, this is going to bump the 7 into play. Does it need to be bumped into play? Well, he can't avoid it, I don't think. Yes, he does need to move it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with this here because you're going to have a shot on the 4 ball. So, I mean.
7 goes in, takes care of that problem.
It wasn't really going to be a problem.
Well, this is looking good to square the match. And again, that's 1 error. The second error is going to cost Shibo 2 racks and counting. Yeah, where the hell's Tin? That's another question. We haven't seen him for a long time.
His website might be getting redone. It's not down. I mean, it comes up and it says stevedaking.com on a white page. So the website is still there. The URL still works. It may be getting redone or something, or be down for maintenance, or who knows.
So this is a crucial one. Looks all too easy. And that's perfect. Again, the control is excellent.
Yeah, you'd rather have angle on that 6 ball shot, but I mean, anybody that's good should be able to drop back reasonably well.
Tied ball game again. Ball on the side. Shot in the 1.
Can I make chat and tourney rooms for only the 2 4-player concerned? Well, anything's possible.
Well, I'll tell you what's possible here. This is going to be Nikk going into the lead. That's what's possible. And again, big fail if he can't get it done, because again, it's just about moving the cue ball into the right areas.
Tin never did the server maintenance. Tin was like an event director and a mod. He didn't do server maintenance. Simon helps me out by watching the servers for me. I think you're confusing Tim and Simon. Yeah, Tim became a working man. He's working a lot, which is, he's in the tech industry. He's a network guy, and it's, typical tech stuff. You work too much.
So it's now going to cost Shibo 3 racks here. Big pain.
He may have been talking about his work.
Or he might just be bigging up his connection with Solaris. I mean, I know I'm a customer service engineer for Solaris, so I deal with customer problems with VP4.
You do sometimes.
Yeah, I certainly do. I've been doing
You've
it for
helped me out a lot. Yeah.
I've done it for years. I've become an expert at fixing VP4 problems. Well, Shibo's got a problem now. I wonder if he's actually thinking about what's happened and how this has come about.
The 9-ball staying in the middle means it's a pretty good rack. A ball staying adjacent to it means that the gaps were in such a spot that it left one, and that can happen. Usually it's either
6-ball,
the ball right above it, or the wing ball, or it could be the ball below it. Yeah, it could be any of the balls around it. But you know, the more the 9-ball stays in the middle, the better the rack is. But if balls stay, it's just, you know.
Oh, well, we had a little bit of a lash at that.
Well, Tin's work, he does all kinds of stuff. He's a network guy.
Well, Shibo's been given his chance to redeem himself here. And once again, the table is good.
Yeah, Tin and Simon are both pretty technical. Well, Shibo is managing to stay in this match, which is...
well, must get the angle in this 4-ball. He needs to probably leave the cue ball where it is there. I would suggest to get a good angle. Oh dear.
Oh boy. So as soon as I sing his praises, what happens? He dogs it.
Oh dear, that's a big mistake.
Boy, did you see the ball Al-Kaidi dog the other night? Who was he playing? Oh, it was terrible. Can't remember who he was playing, but it was bad. He dogged an 8-ball. It was horrible. And I don't know, did you guys see Jeff DeLuna and Mika Inneman get into it? That was interesting.
Is that this 10-ball thing that's going on at the moment?
Yeah. So DeLuna pulls this move on Mika, and I'm sure he did it because Mika's got a well-deserved reputation for losing his cool and blowing matches.
Well, Mooncake's talking about it. He obviously saw it.
Well, I mean, the thing is I know DeLuna did this on purpose because Mika is, you know, I've seen him blow up and lose stuff. As a matter of fact, he blamed me for losing one of his matches. He was playing a final against Rodney Morris, and I was playing $100 rack one pocket and the table next to him. So, I mean, we were trying to stay out of their way as much as we could. So I walk over to shoot a shot at the same time Mika does, and it's a straight in long shot Mika had, and he sees me and he stops, and I stop, and you know, I turn around to go sit down, and he's like, no, and he goes, you shoot, and he goes and sits down. So I shoot, and I'm thinking he's going to miss this, and he's going to blame it on me. And sure enough, he misses it. Then he turns around and gives me this look. But you got to understand about Mika is he's like he's off like this. I mean, I saw him in another tournament lose because he got distracted by there was an usher that was wearing like one of those, you know, construction vests that's kind of like bright red or yellow or something.
Luminous thing, yeah.
And
reflector.
This guy was helping people sit down, and he got in Mika's eye line. But the thing is the guy was 50 feet from Mika. He wasn't even close to him. Mika goes crazy, loses the match. So, I mean, this has been over and over again with Mika. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. The guy can really play, but he lets things distract him. And so I'm sure DeLuna knows this, and that was just a move that, you know, he was trying to set Mika off, which he did, but Mika was still able to run out. It was on the case game.
Well, was Shibo 3-1 up? I think he was.
Well, Shibo, you know, dogging that ball has cost him one so far, and it looks like it's going to cost them 2, and you know, who knows how many. It could cost them 5 or 6. You just don't know. And with a game like 9-ball, guys could get up and run a lot of racks.
Well, it is sort of going the way I thought it would. That Shibo would make the mistakes more often than Nick's going to do them, and Nick's going to be more likely to run the table given the chance, and that's what's happening.
But you know, the thing about 9-ball is if you never give up control of the table. So how do you typically, if you're playing, give up control of the table? Well, you break and you don't make a ball, and you give the guy a shot. So I mean, that's the worst kind of way you're going to do it when you're playing really well. So how do you combat that? Well, obviously you got to break well, but let's say you break and you make a ball, but you don't have a shot. Now it's time to play safe or push out, and that's like a critical moment because you play safe, you can keep control of the table. You lock the guy up where he's kicking at it, you know, and it's a tough kick. There's a good chance you're going to get ball in hand, and even if he hits it, there's a good chance you're going to have a shot and be able to run out. So that's why it's so critical to control the table. If you don't give your opponent chances, they can't win. And that's why I don't get action.
1 ball, 8 ball.
I'll tell you something. As soon as you learn to control the table, all the guys that like to gamble, that aren't real strong players, will stop playing you no matter what weight you give them.
Well, this rack's over as well. Can't see where this is going to go wrong.
No. And I mean, this is, you know, he makes one mistake, and this will be the 3rd rack and counting.
Well, two batches of them, basically. That's what it's been.
Yeah, well, he played a couple bad safeties, too. That's a little short. He's okay, though.
Well, he could go 2 rails. He's got all the room in the world. It's not a problem. He can go 1 rail and play the 6 top left. So he's got choices. It's just about being comfortable with the weight of shot. That'll do
this
it.
guy's a pretty good player, and you know, his success in this tournament is probably going to rely more on decision making and how well he moves, how well he plays safe, because he certainly seems like he runs out pretty good.
Well, Shibo's learning the hard way, and he's got a tough task now to get back in this.
Well, Immelman just lost it, but I mean, the move DeLuna made was a pretty low-class move, if you ask me. I've had people do that exact move that DeLuna did, and
1 ball in the side again. I think that's 2 in a row. The 1 balls went in the side pocket, left side.
You just, you know, Mika he has to learn how to control himself. He never has been able to. But, you know, DeLuna did that on purpose. I guarantee you that, because he knows how Mika is. I mean, that's not a very kind move.
Well, this table is breaking good here for Nick. I mean, he's had 2 or 3 good breaks here. This is another one where he's dead set here to run out again. And this is what you have to be doing. Or as like Steve says, I mean, if you come up dry and you leave the guy a shot, there's not an awful lot you can do about it, but you know, it's down to your choice of shot. If you don't have a shot after the break, you're potted a ball, getting decent safeties or a good push out. But Shibo's got an awful lot of work to do, and he's going to need assistance, I think.
Yeah, so what is this? Is this the 3rd rack or the 4th rack he's running? Is this the 4th rack, isn't it? 4 in a row? The 3rd rack he's broken run, but he won the game that Shibo dogged the 3 ball.
Yeah.
So far this has cost him 4 games. Well, I can believe that the guy's a good player. A lot of guys, you know, that play this game are good real life players. I think it's kind of hard to become a really good player if you're not a good real life player. Although Albin did. You know, Albin, I don't think Albin had really played pool when he started playing VP. I think he does now, but
Well, Nick Sana in VP3 used to play probably a lot more snooker, from what I remember. When he was, and he changed, his name was Magician. I'm not sure whether it was Magician first and then he changed it to Nick Sana.
Yep, there's a miss trying to hold the ball, and you know, I don't know if he's trying to cheat the pocket or what, but that was not very well hit.
Now, if Shibo can hit this half ball on the right side, he might bump the one ball down off the long rail in amongst the 6 and 8 here.
Yeah, this is a little tricky here because this is tricky.
He certainly does. He doesn't want to bump the one into the 5 if he can help it. He wants to.
I think you do want to. I think you want to get on the right side of the 5 and make the cue ball go down table and try to get it behind the 2, 6, and 8. I think that's the easiest play. That was the other side of it. Might work.
No, not quite.
The shot I was talking about was hitting the other side of the one ball like that. You know, and if it hits the 5, that's fine. As long as you get the cue ball past the side pocket with enough speed to get it down table. I mean, that was a tough situation to play safe from. You know, just because you see a safety shot doesn't mean it's going to be easy to execute. Yeah. But you know, you're going to have to shoot shots that are difficult in pool. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's the stuff comes up where there's no easy way to do it. You're going to have to shoot something hard.
The crazy thing here is the 6 ball's dead into the corner. The problem obviously is you need to bang a ball onto the 8 ball to get that to happen. He's trying for a little nudge. The problem with that is the cue ball's leaking away.
Yeah, that
got a bank though.
That was kind of overhit. I mean, you didn't want to hit that hard. Yeah, the bank will go. It was tough though. I mean, he got the double kiss. That was the problem with that bank. That was pretty tight.
Well, Shibo's got a big pocket here. 6 balls.
You know, sometimes when you play in matches, every time you come to the table, it's tough. Every time you make a mistake and your opponent comes to the table, it's easy.
Well, he used all of that there, didn't he?
And you're getting killed, and you're like, geez, this is terrible, you know. But that's where, you know, the decision making. So let's say you come and the table's tough. That's where you need to start playing safe instead of trying to run out the tough table, you know, and then, you know, what you do is you make it better and then sell out.
Oh, he didn't want that. That's a bit too straight. He needed to be further to the right, I think.
He's okay. He can get by this 9 ball. It'll go. Just gotta be a little careful you don't rattle it in the pocket.
Yep. No, he's going to be underneath here. He's going to be right underneath it.
He can still cut this, and the line the ball is going to take is going to be past the side pocket. What you have to watch out for here is the other side pocket. That's the one that you're going to scratch in if you're not careful. Now, a lot of guys would call that a bad roll. I would call it, you know, not taking care of the cue ball. But the tricky thing about this is that depending on what part of the pocket you cut the 8 ball and it changes this line, the cue ball takes quite a bit. But Shibo seems to understand he's not going to scratch in this first side pocket. It's the next one you got to watch out for, and that was well done.
Well played. He's nudged that 9 onto the rail, I think. Oh, let's have a look. No, he's fine.
Yeah. See, if you end up hitting that 8 ball a little thicker, the cue ball goes further down the rail, and that's when the other side starts coming into play.
Well, he's broke the run of Nick as far as racks go, back to within 4.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only way to really get back into this is going to be to control the table. Once you get down against somebody that's good, now you have to control the table. You have to either run out or get safe, because you can't really afford to let Nikk back to the table because unless he makes mistakes, you're going to lose.
Well, the 4 ball doesn't go past the 9, but on the short end of it, you can pot it up table. That's crazy.
Yeah, Shibo's not a bad player. I mean,
3 balls handy for it, though.
He's got some clue of what's going on here.
Well, we'll soon find out. He's either going to try and do something daft and bump into this 4, or he's going to try and just drop behind it. And ideally, if he dropped onto the rail, that wouldn't be a bad thing. Just above the 9 ball.
You just go behind this one. That's the simple thing to do. Usually the simple answer is the best one.
I will do it. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
But, he's making pretty good choices with the cue ball. Although what I've seen with a lot of people on VP is
now, why is he taking so long to look at this? Choice. I mean, this is just pot the ball. They've not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Always worries me when I see a player looking at something and he's looking for a problem that isn't there.
Well, usually that's a sign of not sure where the cue ball is going.
Well, now he's got to decide. I mean, he could go long, he could cut it in the side, but the cue ball's running more. But if he goes long up above the 9, that gives him pretty good line for the 8 ball.
I would almost always cut that in the side.
Perfect.
Because it was natural to come up short on the 8 ball, which is what you wanted. But that works. I mean, you would think that if Shibo can keep doing this, this might be a close match.
Well, if he can get another break like he had the last time there, then he might be good to go here.
Well, we'll see how long it takes before he loses control of the table.
Well, again, a couple of balls.
Well, he's using a cut break, so that's a cut break. So that's the break that you see people play when you're watching the pro tournaments with this kind of racking situation.
Well, the only thing he needs to be careful with is potting the 3 for this 5 ball. Everything else is fine.
I've been asking for somebody to see a cut break this whole tournament. I finally seen one.
Shot.
I'm kind of surprised more people aren't doing that.
I mean, that cue ball would have been better here than it is there. But if only for the fact that it's getting onto the 5 that's the issue.
It's just, this isn't really, you just got to make the ball and wham it. And he didn't wham it. Yeah,
he's going to be hooked.
He's going to pay.
And it's going to be an awful long jump from there, is it not?
Yeah, you've got to bring that cue ball to that other long rail.
And that's where it went wrong, though. Not getting ideally on that 3, and it's got him out of line, and he's got himself in trouble, and he had a table that should have been his, rack that should be his.
You can kick this ball in. I mean, it's not that hard a shot kicking it, but I don't know if he'll try that. I mean, you got to go to the other rail. Now, if he went to the second rail and the cue ball bounced out and he ended up like this, then, that wouldn't be such a bad shot. I mean, yeah, he overhit it, but at least he did the right thing. It's, trying to come up short of the rail is no good. I think he's going to try to kick this. I usually put a little run in English on it. He's not. Well, he could have tried to kick safe there too, but I thought the shot was easy enough. But that's pretty typical of how people miss that shot, is they don't hit far enough down the rail.
Oh, these are painful racks to lose because of, he had that nice little break and run, and he had another nice break and the table at his mercy, and he just got himself out of line, and he's waving bye-bye to this one.
He got funny on the 3 ball and he wasn't able to recover.
Yep.
And that's why good players are hard to beat, because they don't get funny as much, and when they do, they're better at recovering.
Yep.
It's just like golf. Good players don't hit very many bad shots, and when they do, they recover well.
So Nikk is going to defend his lead, take it back to 4, and of course we're only a race to 13, so Shibo's running out of options here. I mean, he's going to maybe run out of opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, this Nikk guy, he plays good enough that, you know, he could probably win this tournament.
And a couple of balls again, one in the top right, one in the side. And I don't think there's much of a shot here. There's a very ambitious 2-9 combo, I would say. That is really ambitious.
I mean, he lost 1916 to semi-pro, who's arguably one of the favorites to win the tournament. So, I mean, it was a pretty good match, and I remember seeing it. He didn't break that well, and then he had that one bally dog late in the match. So, you know, I think this guy's, he's got potential.
Well, it could have finished worse than that. And Shibo should have him in trouble here. Got to get that cue ball close, and he hasn't really.
No, he didn't quite get him on that 4 ball. If he would have, it would have been really good. I mean, he's got a jump shot here, which, you know, the problem here is not less making it and more getting on the 3 ball.
Yeah. Well, that little nudge in the 3 actually has helped Shibo big time.
Yeah.
That 3 ball's wide open.
He hit a pretty good shot. He got the cue ball to move back down table, but he just didn't get the 2 in.
That needs to keep
a pretty
running.
good attempt.
So now he has to redeem himself. He's been given that second bite at the cherry.
Now, I'll tell you something else about good players. When the angle they get on a shot isn't necessarily, you know, the perfect angle or this or that, it doesn't bother them much because they know how to make angle or reduce angle or, you know, to make the cue ball do what they need to get back in line.
Yeah, it's about how good you deal with situations that might you weren't contemplating at the time, and you know, not letting it stew and dealing with it.
Yeah, and that's probably more so for real life than VP. In real life, you can actually do a little more as far as dealing with a shot where things are a little bit more bent out of shape.
Well, this is the crucial one, and that's going to come in the short side, and that's perfect.
And that's interesting. I mean, a lot of players wouldn't have gone forward there, but I like that choice.
Well, what he wouldn't do for a nice breaking run here as a follow-up. That's what's required. Back to within 3. Ball again, top right-hand corner. Oh, the 1 ball going to bump the 5. That'll do it. And he's also got a perfect angle. Well, he has to avoid the 5 to get across to the 2, so he needs to be wary of that. He might want to just tweak this cue ball a bit to make sure he's missing a 5. Well, he's run straight into it, but he's got away with it. And now, this is another one of these things where you know there's a problem with blocking balls here up top table to get on this 4, so you have to make sure you're well out of the way of them. And oh, again, he's got lucky. He's got lucky.
Mark, I said it's possible to do it. I don't know if I'm going to, but it's possible to do that.
He wants to slow down a bit here. Wants to slow down. Now, he might just be dragging off this rather than slamming it. Just trying to sort of stun across the table. Yeah, you see he's taking his eye off the pot doing that. His mind was in other things there and he's blown it. He had the right idea again, but again, the focus was more on the cue ball rather than the pot. And he's blown his chance. And it's these little mistakes. It might be just one every two or every couple of racks at some point, but it's costing them a lot more. They had a chance to get almost right back in it here. Well, that won't do it. Shibo might get another chance at this.
Yeah, he's a little funny here. I mean, this is a little bit of draw and a little left English. Go right around that 9 ball. Well, he played the right shot, but he didn't hit it well. But he's come out smelling pretty good.
I think that cue ball has just caught the 7 on the way out there. Let's have a look at that again.
Yeah, it did double kiss. Well, now you got to decide whether you're going to try to play safe or bank it. The safety is a little tough here because if you don't get safe, there's no safe where you can put the 7 ball in the middle of the other end rail and get it behind a ball. So any safety you try to play for a snooker here, if you don't get the snooker, you're going to sell out.
Oh, you've got to go for the bank.
In this situation, I would shoot the bank every time because of that.
Oh, that's unlucky. He gave it every chance to go in. The pace was nice. Again, they just simply have to go in at this stage in the match.
I can tell you what players in real life do, Rosin. A player in real life is going to decide everything they're going to do before they ever even get down on the ball. So the shot lineup is actually done standing up. You step into the shot, and all that is, any kind of English is already pre-planned. Once you're down, the adjustments are extremely minor, and if you're not real close at that point, you're going to get back up and reset. So VP actually has that mode, which nobody uses, where you can actually do aiming like you're standing up and then get down on it. There's an option to do that. So what I would recommend is know how you're going to shoot the shot before you do anything. And if here's the thing is if you're using a pivot English, it sort of gets the thing so that it's evened out already, although that's not perfect because it depends a lot on speed and ball curvature. If you're not using pivot English, then you're going to have to do one or the other first. You can aim and then put spin on it, where you pre-aim for the spin, or you can just aim normal and put spin on it and then change your aim. I don't think there's any right way in VP. The aim while you're standing, no, it's an option under.
Yeah, Steve's not talking about the W key. There's a camera setting where the player, when he shoots his shot, you don't automatically go to the next shot. You don't automatically go down over the cue. You sort of step back from the table to look at the shot. I don't know what it is because I've never had that set.
Yeah, it's camera aiming is the option. So you can aim and then you press the aim key again to actually get down on the ball.
Yeah, that's why some players you'll find there's a delay between them playing each shot and you think it's lag, but they've actually got their camera setting on the setting that Steve's talking about.
But that won't change the question you have about English. All I'm saying is that, a player in real life knows everything they're going to do before they get down. They know what kind of English they're going to play. They have already decided where the cue ball is going, where the object's ball is going, how they're going to hit the cue ball, and they go straight to that.
Yeah, that's automatic pilot. though as well, because this is all being processed in the mind, automatic. They don't necessarily have to think about it, because once they've worked out where they're going next, everything falls into place.
Yeah, well, when you've done it hundreds of thousands of times, it's
exactly.
It becomes pretty automatic.
And Nikk has the table again at his mercy here. We'll look at the stats in this match at the end. Going to be interesting.
That was a mistake. Let's see if he goes. I would go top with a lot of left English and come around
behind
on the side where the 5 and 8 is not. He's not gonna. He's gonna run at the 5 and 8, which is fine. But you gotta just make sure that you don't overhit it and get yourself down into him.
Well, I think you're better going up the table and back down the table here rather than try to baby this.
Well, in real life, that's what I'd be doing on this. In this game, maybe might bunt this, but in real life, everybody's going to hit that thing because
he's not. If you look at where it's gone, I mean, if he'd hit that hard and it hit the top railing back down past the side pockets, that's it's nitpicking. But anyway, he's going to get it done.
It's not like staying with the chin on cue after shooting. It's like standing up and aiming while you're standing, and then getting down on the ball. In real life, all good players, they aim while they're standing. They aim with their bodies. So the relationship between the cue and their body stays relatively consistent. So they're actually aiming with their body, so that when they get down, they have the correct relationship with the cue and their body.
Yeah, if you look at if you watch Mark Williams, I mean, I'm only using Mark Williams as an example, the snooker player. If you look at him when he's playing, he went through a process of relearning how to aim. And when I say that, he went through the process of relearning how to approach the shot. That is from getting out his seat to walking to the table to looking at the shot and then stepping into the shot. And that process or that technique is called sight right. So if you watch him playing, and it's made a complete change to his game. I mean, he's became a lot more consistent. He won the World Championship like 13 years after the last time he won it. And, he's a lot more consistent in potting balls. So his technique is something that's been guided to him. He's been taught the technique and he's took it on board, and that's what he uses all the time. And every pro in the game uses some form of technique or approach. Usually it's assess the shot, decide the pot, and then walk into the shot, and do everything else Steve's talking about. But Mark Williams is a perfect example. And anyway, while we've been nattering away, this match is over, and my prediction was 1 rack out. Oh, tell a lie, it was 3 racks out. It's 13-6, and now LS3's prediction doesn't look quite so bad. She predicted 13-4, but Shibo lost that on what I said he would lose it on, those mistakes, and that was painful. But that was very consistent, very well done by Nikk.
We should look at the stats. He played a pretty good match there.
Yeah.
The thing about the whole aiming procedure thing is it's more noticeable on some players. You can see it more on some players, but everybody does it. Even these guys that run around the table and just slam down, they are all doing it. It's just some people, it's more static looking. It doesn't flow as much, and it's more noticeable what they're doing.
Where the hell am I going to... Oh, there he is. I'm right over him. My little cue was accidentally right over the top of his name. I would have never have found him. Shibo.
Nikk and Shibo.
Right, so...
Yeah, I mean, Shibo didn't play that bad a match. It's just that, Nikk was able to control the match.
Well, look at that. Look at that.
That's what happens. I think you'll look, and Shibo will look pretty good in this match in the stats.
Well, Nikk...
I mean, look at the break.
12 breaks.
Break is good.
Yeah, 1.2 and a half balls per...
91.67%. But look at Shibo. Shibo was 85, almost 86%. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, Shibo broke well too.
Runouts from the break 8.
And
Shibo
that's
had
pretty
3.
strong. I mean, on the race to 13, and he ran out 8 racks in the break. That's pretty strong.
Well, you were right, Steve. That Nikk had that racks high run of 3. That's what broke the back of the match, basically. In the long term, they all had 100% on their Moneyball shot, but the racks high run is 3, and his racks ran in the match was 8. I mean, that's what you have to be doing.
And the ball making percentage is going to be high. There wasn't a whole lot of safeties played that match, but I think look at the common stats.
And look at the balls per turn, 5.2.
So Nikk 98.2%, and he may have played safe at some point. You know, as soon as you play safe, that number goes down.
Well, 112 shots, 110 made. That's pretty good.
You know, we know Shibo played safe probably at least 3 times. So, I mean, his shot making was pretty good too. I mean, but this is what happens is like Shibo played pretty well and he got drilled because Nikk controlled the table. Shibo just didn't get a lot of chances.
Now, again, looking at the overall stats for the tournament, these are a bit misleading because some players have played 1 match, some have played more than 1. But the runouts from the break, top of the leaderboard at the moment is Chimpy tied with Tommy. And then you've got Shibo, obviously, who's now out the tournament on 7. Semi-Pros on 5. Cobra's on 5. Paul is on 0. Wait a minute here, hang on a minute. How come that's better? That's better, I didn't tab it. You've got Nikk at the top with 17 runouts from the break, and Bill in second and 11 tied with Spectre Dawn. Tommy and Mr. Fox in 10. Mr. Fox in 9, and Larry on 9. Shibo. Is that Shibo? It's Larry and Shibo. No, who's in 9? Mr. Fox is in 9. Larry's in 9. Shibo's in 7, and so on and so forth. Average balls made.
I think of Nikk. If he's got a decent moving game, he's going to be definitely in the running to win this because obviously he can run out, you know, and he makes pretty good choices. His patterns are pretty good. So I think for him, and I don't know, you know, I haven't seen him play enough. I mean, when you get a match where you're breaking and not making balls and you're having to play safe, and you know, that's going to be more telling as far as you know, whether he's got what it takes to take down the best players.
Well, he's got nothing to fear. I don't think he needs to fear anything. If he's given these opportunities where there's an open table, you know, he's pretty damn good at finding his way out.
Yeah,
and that's always a threat.
That's good enough to beat most players, but the top few players, you're going to have to be able to move too, because unless you play a match where everything goes wonderfully and you break great and you can run out all the time, you're going to have to get into moving situations, and that's what we haven't seen as much from him. Yeah. I'm not saying he can't do it. Maybe he's great at it. I just, you know, like this match, he almost never had to play safe. It seemed like every time he broke, he had an open shot.
Well, you know, I think there's no way he can go through this tournament where he's not going to be questioned on the other aspects of the all-round game. And you're right enough. He's going to get involved in a back and forth safety situation, maybe more than once in a match. And how well he responds to that might well decide his survival in the tournament. Now, looking at this schedule, we've got 8 matches on the schedule. You've got Paul against Lockstar on Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning. Semi-Pro against Rabbi at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday night. But you've also got Spudboy and Sargo at 3 p.m. on Sunday. Now, the next match I'm going to stream is Chimpy against Slim. That's at 5 p.m. on Sunday, 1 p.m. Noon Eastern. And then to follow that, we have Bill and Tommy with their one-loss side match at 8 p.m. on Sunday. The big one that we're waiting on between Albinario and Bedhead, it's set now for March the 6th, next Monday at 7 p.m. We've also then, to follow that on the Wednesday, which is my day off, that's perfect. We've got LS3 Inspector Dawn at 8 p.m. That would be 3 p.m. Eastern. And then finally, you've got Pool Kabouter and Brainful Out on the Thursday at 10 p.m. So again, that can change. You just have to keep a tab on it. But at the moment, my next live stream will be Chimpy and One Pocket Slim. So well done to Nick. Solid play and well deserved his win. And it turned out more or less the way I thought it would. I thought Shibo, and in fact Shibo should have had another 2 or 3 racks anyway.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen Shibo play much, but he played pretty well. I mean, I think he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact he doesn't get table time now. He doesn't spend any time in VP4 like he used to in VP3. But again, that's probably, he works on computers and stuff like that as well. So he's sat behind his desk all day working. And he generally comes in on the match day, gets some practice when he's in these tournaments, and that's really all he gets. He doesn't play competitive tournaments at all now because he doesn't have the time. It's the same for everybody. Everything changes. But anyway,
let's see. Shibo played Bedhead and lost 19-18.
Yeah.
So he had a couple tough opponents. I mean, Bedhead's no walkover, and from what I've seen of Nick, Nick probably plays better than Bedhead does.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly in that first match, Bedhead was not up to par. Bedhead knows he's got to step up a bit for his next match.
Well, yeah, he's got to play his fellow Swede, which I'm sure he's not that thrilled about.
Albinario won't be. Well, again, I was going to say Albinario won't be generous, but we know sometimes how Albie can get generous at some stages in matches, so that's the one to look forward to. So, anything else to say, Steve? Because I'm going to head south.
I don't. I just, we just got to figure out what we're going to do with leagues. I'm just wondering what people want.
You didn't really get a very encouraging response, did you? I mean, I said, well, that was what the discussion was previously. It was 8 ball, wasn't it?
Yeah,
is it 8 ball world or something?
We talked about a no handicap Masters like 10 ball league. Yeah, it would be probably world, and it would probably be bar table, because I think that's going to be the best game for league, because I think in bar table 8 ball, it's gonna make the players that are not quite as good as execution wise, but know how to play smart. It's going to give them a better chance, because on a big table it becomes more break and run out.
Yeah, there'll be lots of tucking up in a bar table, so there will, especially in 8 ball. There'll be lots of locking up in that game.
And really, all the leagues here in the U.S., and there's a lot of them. They're almost, when they play 8 ball, it's almost always on a bar table.
Well, maybe
that's all I got.
Maybe I should put I should maybe put what do you call it? A vote on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, a survey or a vote or something.
And see what the responses are there. Then they can only blame each other, because if they don't go onto my YouTube channel and they don't vote, then they can't moan about the fact that it's not the game they want. Anyway, that's for another time. I will bid you all good evening. Thank you to Steve for taking part. Thanks all for your company, and we'll see you in a day or two's time for the big matches at the weekend. Take care. See you again soon, folks. If I can get my buttons to work.
Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies.
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach.